A quiet shift has been unfolding in your life, one that many around you did not expect or fully understand. For a long time, this person carried themselves as if emotions were optional, as if connection could be switched on and off without consequence. They kept their distance, moving through life with a guarded heart, convinced that nothing real could truly reach them. But then you entered their world in a completely different way. You did not arrive with pressure or demands, but with calm honesty and a kind presence that asked for nothing except truth. Slowly, you became a steady space in their unpredictable world. You offered patience when they pulled away, warmth when they felt cold inside, and understanding when they could not even explain their own emotions. Without any grand gestures, you showed them what real care actually feels like. At first, they resisted it, unsure why your presence stayed in their thoughts or why their emotions felt different around you. They tried to dismiss it, but something deeper had already begun to shift. The walls they built over time started to weaken, and the patterns they once relied on no longer felt satisfying. Even those watching from the outside could sense the change, noticing reactions, emotions, and tension they did not expect. In the middle of it all, a deeper sense of clarity seemed to rise within, as if life itself was guiding them toward understanding. What once felt like control is slowly turning into reflection, and what felt like distance is becoming awareness. The attention they used to crave from others suddenly felt empty, and as they started feeling this shift, someone else noticed. There was a third party involved, someone jealous, someone who wanted control. This third person had always used manipulation and fear to keep the player close. They fed on chaos. They were never in love with the player's heart, only the idea of owning them. When you entered the picture, everything changed. The third party sensed that their control was slipping. They saw the calmness in the player's eyes when your name came up. They saw how you never begged for attention, never created drama, and never forced anything. That peace you carried became a threat to them. The more you stayed in your power, the more they started to lose theirs. The more you remained silent, the louder their jealousy became. They tried everything, lies, confusion, emotional manipulation, to pull the player back into their web. But something inside the player was shifting. They started realizing the truth. They compared your calm energy with the third party's chaos. They compared your honesty with manipulation. They compared your silence with the noise around them. And soon, they began to understand who truly cared. This third party is now losing control. They can sense that their old tricks no longer work. They are angry, jealous, and desperate, trying to hold on to something that was never truly theirs. But no amount of control can stop what is meant to end. You were sent into this person's life as a mirror. You showed them what they had been running from: real emotion, real peace, real love. It scared them at first, because they had never felt it before. They didn't know how to handle something so genuine. But your presence planted a seed in their soul. Now, every time they try to go back to the old life, that seed grows stronger. They remember your kindness, your understanding, your patience. Even if they pretend to move on, their soul knows it can never forget you. The third party senses this, and it drives them mad. They see the player thinking about you, dreaming about you, comparing everyone else to you. They can feel that their control is fading. That is why they are acting out. That is why they are trying harder than ever to destroy your name or make you look like the problem. But you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to fight or explain. The truth always reveals itself at the right time. The universe is already bringing light to every hidden thing. The player is seeing the truth with their own eyes. They are realizing that you were never the one who played games. You were the only one who was real. They remember how you stayed when things got hard. They remember how you forgave when they made mistakes. They remember how your love didn't demand attention but gave peace. And now, they are facing the truth that no one has ever loved them the way you did. The third party, on the other hand, is trapped in their own chaos. Their lies are catching up to them. The people they used to manipulate are turning away. The mask they wore is breaking, and everyone can see who they truly are. This is not your fight, my child. Your only task now is to stay grounded, stay calm, and keep walking in peace. Do not react to their drama. Do not try to prove anything. The more you stay silent, the more the truth will speak for itself. The divine sees everything. Every tear you cried in silence, every prayer you whispered when you didn't understand why things fell apart, none of it was in vain. You were not rejected. You were protected. You were removed from that situation so you could see your worth and not lose yourself trying to save someone who needed to save themselves. The player is now learning what you already knew. Love isn't about control or attention. It's about peace, trust, and truth. When they compare the energy, they'll know. When they remember how they felt around you, they'll know. When they see the difference between manipulation and love, they'll know. And when that day comes, they will want to return. They might not even have the words to say it. They may just appear quietly, trying to test if your heart is still open. But by then, you will have changed. You will be stronger, wiser, and finally at peace with yourself. You'll realize that you didn't lose anything. You gained clarity. Because true love doesn't always mean holding on. Sometimes, letting go is not loss, but alignment with what is truly meant for you in its own timing. Your role was never to fix others, but to understand love in its purest form, even when it was not returned in the same way. Now the chapter completes itself, and what was temporary begins to fall away, naturally, making space for emotional clarity and inner balance. You begin to rise into a different season, where connections feel lighter, more honest, and aligned with your energy. In time, what once hurt becomes understanding, and what once confused you turns into protection. There is no need for revenge or resistance, because life has its own way of restoring balance, quietly and effectively. This becomes a season of healing, where emptiness is slowly replaced with peace, and every ending creates room for something more genuine and stable. What leaves no longer belongs, and what arrives will recognize your worth without effort. You stop chasing validation, and begin to trust your own presence more deeply. Each experience becomes a teacher, rather than a wound. Slowly, your energy shifts toward calm, self-respect, and emotional independence. You no longer feel the need to explain your kindness, or prove your intentions. Instead, you walk forward with quiet confidence, allowing life to reveal what is meant for you, without force or urgency. What once felt like loss transforms into understanding and strength, and you realize that your growth was always the hidden purpose behind it all. In every silence you find clarity, and in every ending you discover a stronger version of yourself emerging gently and completely free from the past and into a deeply renewed self. You will no longer carry guilt for loving too deeply. This is your divine victory, because the truth is simple. You were the first person to show this player true love, and once a heart experiences real love, it can never go back to empty connections. It can pretend for a while, but it will always crave the peace, safety, and warmth you gave. Now your focus must shift to yourself. Love yourself the way you loved them. Care for yourself the way you cared for others. Give yourself the time, patience, and healing you offered freely to those who didn't deserve it. This is your new beginning. Walk in grace. Live in peace. Keep your heart open but guarded. The right person will meet you where you are, not drain you for what you give. Your story doesn't end with heartbreak. It begins with self-love, and from that love, everything else will fall perfectly into place. Remember, my child, the divine always protects pure hearts. The universe never forgets those who love truthfully. Your energy is too rare to be wasted. Your love is too strong to be forgotten. The player may take time to grow, but the seed you planted will bloom in them forever. The third party may try to imitate your light, but they will always fail, because your light comes from a pure soul. Be still and watch. The universe is aligning everything for your highest good. You will have peace, you will have clarity, and you will have love. Real love. The kind that doesn't break you, the kind that stays. Because this time, my child, love will not be a lesson. It will be your blessing. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $20. My child, something inside you has shifted, hasn't it? You can feel it, the calm after the storm. The confusion that once surrounded your heart is slowly clearing, and what's left is truth, the kind of truth that cannot be denied anymore. You are starting to see that everything that fell apart was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal who was truly standing with you and who was only pretending. The divine allowed certain people to leave so that your vision could be restored. The player, the third party, the chaos, all of it served a purpose. The person who once played games with your heart is now feeling the weight of their choices. They thought they could move on easily, but something keeps pulling them back to the memory of you. They try to distract themselves with noise, with people, with things, but nothing fills the silence that your absence created. They hear your voice in their thoughts. They see your face in quiet moments. They feel your kindness when the world is cold to them. The energy you shared has imprinted on their soul, and no matter how much they resist, it keeps calling them back. The third party knows this too. They can sense that they are losing the battle, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. They can see that the player's eyes no longer light up for them. Their conversations feel forced. Their connection feels empty. And even when they try to act happy, the truth shows through their tone. The third party's jealousy has become their weakness. They are trying harder than ever to prove that they are in control, but every attempt backfires. The more they push, the more they reveal their insecurity. The more they speak, the more they expose the truth. You, on the other hand, are being guided to stay silent. Let the divine handle the noise. The truth does not need defending. It simply needs time to be seen. Your silence is powerful. It unsettles those who live on drama. It confuses those who thought you needed attention. It teaches others that peace cannot be disturbed by chaos. And while all this unfolds, you are being lifted to a higher level of understanding. The pain you once carried is transforming into wisdom. You are learning to trust your intuition more deeply than ever before. You are realizing that your love was not a mistake, it was your gift. The player will soon understand that too. They will remember how you stood by them when they were at their lowest. They will remember how you chose not to turn their pain into a weapon, how even in moments of hurt you still carried a quiet dignity that softened the atmosphere around you. Over time, something begins to shift within them, and understanding slowly rises where confusion once lived, making them reconsider the choices they made, the assumptions they trusted, and the moments they let slip away without real awareness. With reflection comes awareness, and with awareness comes change. Yet while they move through this inner awakening, you continue your journey forward, growing into a deeper version of yourself, learning that real love never asks you to abandon your peace or compromise your self-respect. You start recognizing your own value in ways that reshape how you see every bond, every interaction, every possibility ahead. Emotional clarity replaces old uncertainty, and you no longer feel pulled toward anything that weakens your spirit or disturbs your balance. Instead, you stand steady, grounded in the understanding that healthy love feels mutual, calm, and honest without confusion or fear. Those who once misunderstood you may eventually see your worth more clearly, but by then your life has already moved beyond previous cycles and limitations. You are no longer shaped by the need for approval, but by inner strength and self-trust that guides every decision you make. Each experience becomes a quiet teacher, strengthening your boundaries and expanding your awareness in ways that feel natural and lasting. In this process, you also learn patience with yourself, understanding that healing is not linear but layered, unfolding in its own time. Each step forward carries meaning, even the smallest ones, shaping a deeper sense of clarity, strength, and emotional freedom that cannot be taken away by past experiences or external opinions, and inner peace, and you truly deserve always. You brought peace where there was confusion. You brought truth where there were lies. That is why the third party is breaking down. That is why they are losing control. Your energy exposed their shadows, and now everything they hid is being revealed. You didn't have to fight them. You didn't have to speak against them. The light within you did the work. And as the truth continues to unfold, you will notice a shift. People who once doubted you will start seeing your side. The player who once ignored your worth will begin to speak your name with respect. The same situation that once caused you pain will now bring you peace, because what is meant for you will always find its way back. But this time, you will be wiser. This time, you will have learned the difference between attention and love, between obsession and devotion, between control and care. Your energy is rare. That's why it's been attacked. That's why it's been misunderstood. But the divine never lets pure souls remain in confusion forever. The truth is surfacing, and justice is unfolding in silence. You do not need to watch their downfall. Focus on your own rise. Let karma take care of the rest. You are stepping into a new chapter, one where your heart is free and your energy is protected. The people meant for you will match your peace, not your pain. They will speak your name with love, not manipulation. They will see your worth immediately, not after losing you. This is your time to rebuild, to rise, and to receive. You are no longer the chaser. You are the chosen one. My child, the path ahead is clearing now. The storm that once surrounded you is settling, and the confusion that filled your mind is lifting. You are beginning to understand why everything happened the way it did. The divine was never punishing you. It was preparing you. The person who once played with your emotions is now being shown what real love looks like through the loss of it. They are being forced to sit with the silence they created. The absence of your energy has become their mirror. Every distraction they once used feels empty now. Every conversation feels meaningless. Every person they meet seems like a copy, but never the same. They are realizing that it was never the words that made them feel alive. It was your energy. It was the peace in your presence, the warmth in your tone, the patience in your heart. Those things cannot be replaced, no matter how hard they try. The third party, however, cannot accept this truth. They are holding on with fear, not love. They are trying to control what was never meant for them. They are watching the player change, and it terrifies them. They can feel that they are losing their influence. Their tricks are no longer working. Their words are losing power. The more they try to force a connection, the more distant it becomes. The divine has stepped in. What was once hidden is being exposed. What was once manipulated is being corrected. What was once unbalanced is being restored. You, my child, are being guided to stand still and let this unfold naturally. You do not need to chase, fix, or prove. The universe is already handling it all. Your energy speaks louder than any explanation ever could. The player is being tested now. They are being shown the difference between what is real and what is fake, between the one who gave love and the one who demanded it, between peace and confusion, between truth and illusion. And as this truth unfolds, they will start to feel something they cannot explain, a deep longing, not for attention, but for your presence. They will replay every memory with you in their mind. They will remember how you listened, how you cared, how you understood without judgment. That realization will break the ego they once hid behind. The mask of pride will fall, and when it does, they will see themselves clearly for the first time. They will see how they hurt someone who only wanted the best for them. They will see how they allowed a jealous third party to come between what was pure, and they will understand that losing you was the moment they truly lost themselves. But by the time this happens, you will no longer be waiting in pain. You will have transformed. The tears that once fell for them will have watered your strength. The silence you once feared will have become your peace. The loneliness you once hated will have turned into your power. You are not the same person you were when they left. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are in alignment with your purpose. The divine is replacing your heartbreak with blessings. New opportunities are forming, new connections are approaching, and new energy is surrounding you. Something within your life is shifting in a quiet but powerful way, as if your surroundings are beginning to align with a healthier emotional rhythm. You may start noticing that the people entering your space feel more genuine, more steady, and more supportive of who you are becoming. Conversations feel clearer, intentions feel easier to read, and confusion slowly loses its grip. There is a sense that emotional heaviness is no longer able to stay attached to you the way it once did. Old dynamics that once felt complicated begin to lose their influence, not through conflict, but through natural distance and clarity. People who once misunderstood your worth may begin to recognize your growth from afar, even if nothing is said directly. At the same time, you are being guided toward connections that reflect respect, honesty, and emotional balance. You are stepping into a phase where your presence naturally filters the kind of energy you allow into your life. What once required effort now feels more intuitive. You are also beginning to understand your own emotional patterns with greater maturity, realizing that love without respect cannot sustain peace. This awareness brings strength, not bitterness. If certain individuals from your past reappear, it will be an opportunity for you to respond differently, from a place of self-respect and calm, rather than emotional dependence. You are no longer the version of yourself that accepted less than you deserved. Growth has reshaped your boundaries, your awareness, and your emotional clarity. As you continue forward, you may find that endings you once questioned actually made space for better alignment. What once felt like loss begins to reveal itself as redirection towards something more stable, more peaceful, and more authentic to who you are becoming. The people who once misunderstood you will watch your rise in silence. The player will realize that they lost their blessing. The third party will understand that envy can never compete with grace. Your story is far from over, it's only beginning. You are stepping into the chapter where peace replaces pain, where love feels safe, and where you no longer have to question anyone's intentions. You are being guided toward people who will recognize your heart from the start. No games, no confusion, no fear, only mutual respect and truth. That is your reward for surviving everything that tried to break you. The universe saw your loyalty, the divine heard your prayers, and now, your blessings are unfolding, one by one. Keep walking in silence. Keep trusting the process. Your light is your protection, and your peace is your power. Archangel Michael says, the third party's mask is off completely now. The jealousy that once hid behind fake smiles is out in the open. You can feel it, can't you? The sudden tension, the way they watch you when you're not looking. It's not just envy anymore, it's fear. Because they know, deep down, they've lost control over someone they used to manipulate easily. You see, when true love enters the picture, false love trembles. The player who once wandered between hearts has finally tasted something pure, something you offered without demands or games, and that has shaken everything around them. The third party cannot understand how kindness, patience, and genuine care could change someone they thought would never change. Now, this person, the one who once played with emotions, is sitting in silence at night, thinking about you. The same one who used to avoid feelings is now replaying every word you ever said, every time you believed in them when no one else did, every time you chose to stay calm instead of reacting, Every time you showed compassion, all of it has awakened something real. And Archangel Michael wants you to know, your love was never a mistake. It was a divine assignment. You were meant to break the cycle of deceit that followed this person. You didn't just love them, you helped them see what love truly feels like. That's why the third party is breaking down. Their manipulation no longer works. Their charm no longer pulls him back. Because now he's seen the truth, and truth is something that can't be unseen. This is why lately, that third party has been acting strange, trying to get his attention, trying to make you look bad, trying to stir chaos. But everything they do backfires. Every plan collapses because Archangel Michael is blocking it. Your protection is divine. Every hidden conversation is being revealed, every false promise exposed. The player has realized that while the third party offered attention, you offered peace, and peace always wins in the end. Even when it looked like you were forgotten, you weren't. The silence wasn't rejection, it was realization. He needed to lose everything fake to see what was real, and now he sees it clearly. You were the first person to show him love without expecting anything in return. That's what makes you unforgettable. Soon, you'll notice subtle changes, random messages, long pauses before they speak, a soft tone that wasn't there before. That's because guilt and gratitude are mixing in their heart. They want to come back, but they don't know how. The third party feels that energy slipping away, and it's driving them into chaos. But Archangel Michael says, don't chase, don't fight, stand still in faith. Let divine timing do what human control cannot. The truth always finds its way back home. The third party might try one last desperate move, a message, a rumor, a dramatic post, but it will only expose them further. The more they try to harm you, the more blessings will be added to your path. You are not losing anything. You are being refined for something better. Honest love, not a recycled one. So breathe. Let go of fear. What's meant for you won't ever belong to jealousy. It will belong to destiny. Archangel Michael reminds you. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Because your story isn't ending, it's only beginning. The pain, the silence, the chaos, all of it is clearing the way for a divine reunion that no third party can destroy. Archangel Michael says, the truth is no longer hidden. The player who once played with emotions has now faced the mirror of his own heart. The reflection he sees isn't pride or power anymore, it's regret. He has begun to feel a quiet regret for not recognizing the one person who offered genuine care when others were only present for their own benefit. In recent days, his thoughts have grown restless, making it difficult for him to sleep or find peace in daily life. Even simple routines feel heavier as memories surface more often than before. Every ignored message, every moment of distance, now returns with new meaning, replaying in his mind like scenes he can't pause. He remembers how you stayed consistent when others drifted away, and that contrast is beginning to sink in deeply. It is less about guilt and more about awareness, a slow understanding of what he once took for granted. The connection you shared has not simply faded, it has transformed into reflection. He finds himself thinking of conversations, small gestures, and the comfort that once felt ordinary, but now feels rare. In quiet moments, your presence seems to appear in unexpected ways, through familiar songs, passing words, or sudden reminders that stir emotion. He is beginning to detach from distractions that once held his attention, not out of conflict, but out of exhaustion with anything that lacks meaning. What remains is a growing sense of clarity and the possibility of change. If he reaches out again, it may come from a more honest and humble place, shaped by realization rather than impulse. Still, nothing is certain, and what matters most now is your own peace, growth, and emotional balance moving forward. Focus remains on healing and building a stable emotional foundation that does not depend on uncertainty.